Hi guys, time for Chapter 5 of Chocolate Touch. John hung up his coat, got his notebook and pencil out of his locker, and sat down at the small table just in time for the second bell, when Miss Pimsel walked silently into the classroom. As soon as she appeared in the doorway, all the chattering and scuffling stopped. 20 boys and girls sat straight in their chairs and looked straight at the clean chalkboard. "Good morning, children," Miss Pimsel said. "Good morning, Miss Pimsel," the class answered respectfully. Miss Pimsel sat at her high desk, blinking her eyes as she surveyed the room. She then opened a little drawer in her desk and pulled out a spectacle case, from which she took out reading glasses. She removed her long-distance glasses and put on her short-distance glasses, snapped shut the spectacles case, and replaced it in the drawer. She shut the drawer, tilted her head forward so that she could look over the glasses, and said, "This morning, children, we are going to have an important test." There were some groans and a few oohs and ahs. Miss Pimsel lifted her head. One of her hands lifted up, and silence restored instantly. "No complaining, please," she said sternly. "This test will show me how you have been learning in your math this year. It will be a short one. I am going to write just 4 problems on the board. I shall expect you to solve them all swiftly and accurately, to write your names neatly. You will place your paper in front of you now. You will write your name at the top right-hand corner, and you will place your pencil beside your paper. Sit back in your chair and wait until I give you the signal to begin work." Miss Pimsel turned to the blackboard and began chalking up the test problems. Tests always made John nervous. Besides, his lips were feeling dry, and the taste of chocolate was strong in his mouth. He raised his hand. "Yes, John?" Miss Pimsel asked. "Please, may I go and get a drink of water, Miss Pimsel?" he asked in a small voice. "Very well, hurry back. We're going to start in a few minutes." John gratefully slipped out of the room and walked quickly down the quiet corridor to a water fountain. His tongue felt thick with chocolate. The cold water would be refreshing. He pressed his foot down on the water fountain, and a stream of cold, ice-clear water spurted from the silver nozzle in the white enamel basin. He lowered his head until the jet of water reached his lips. The cold water splashed lightly against the side of his mouth. He opened his lips, and as soon as the water gushed in, it turned into ice-cold chocolate water, thin and sweet. Quickly stopping the flow, John looked at the puddle with dismay. The puddle was now draining away at the basin of the fountain. He hurried to another fountain on the second floor of the building. But the same thing happened. The clear, ice-cold water turned into liquid chocolate in his mouth. When John finally got back to his classroom, all of the pupils were bent over their tables, busily writing away. Miss Pimsel looked up from her book as John tiptoed in. She looked at the clock at the wall and looked back at him, and wagged her finger, not approving. John began the first of the 4 problems, but he was so worried about the chocolate water that he couldn't keep his mind on his work. By the time he was ready to start the 4th problem, the other boys and girls were already putting down their pencils and straightening up and smiling at each other. 2 minutes to go," said Miss Pimsel. Concentrating hard, John took the end of his pencil between his teeth and began to nibble it. It immediately turned into chocolate. Then he noticed an even more disturbing change. Although he had only taken the pencil out of his mouth as soon as the first piece of chocolate had crumbled off, the pencil was continuing to change to chocolate. The chocolate was slowly but steadily moving down the pencil, replacing the wood and the lead inside, changing it into a chocolate pencil before John's very eyes. The magic, for how John knew was how strong his power must be, was apparently getting stronger. By the time the whole pencil had changed from red and yellow to a dark black and brown, Miss Pimsel was announcing, that only a few seconds remained in which to write down the final answer. "Just a minute," John pleaded. "Shh," Miss Pimsel cautioned him, holding up a finger to her mouth. "Shh. course, the slow workers, who were becoming almost as excited as John. But John felt the worst of all. He felt sure that he could finish the problem and write down the correct answer, if only he had something to write with. "But Miss Pimsel," he begged with a loud whisper, "my pencil is turned into chocolate." "Shh, John," Miss Pimsel said. "I will speak to you after the bell." John tried to write with his changed pencil, but the point was too soft, and he only succeeded in making a chocolate smear where he should have written. That is the end of that chapter. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys next week.